This is Tech Talk from the Digital Production Buzz.
Cirina Catania is the producer of the Digital Production Buzz. She also runs her own production company and produces several films and television projects throughout the year. Recently, her website died for 2 days, and how she got it back is the subject of today's Tech Talk. Hello, Cirina. Good to have you with us.
Hi, Larry.
So what happened?
I had to get the boxing gloves off on this one. It wasn't easy. I actually was paying $90 a year for a security site to fix any problems, detail what was happening and correct them. And when I detected the problem, actually I got delisted by Google for a while because of malware on the site. I contacted the security company and I was told, oh no, you're just paying for something that's 50% accurate. Then they wanted $150 to manually clean the site. And then they wanted another $90 a month to monitor and fix the issues. So it was a little disconcerting to find out that something that you're paying for is actually not even working. And I thought it might help our listeners to hear a little bit about how I ended up fixing it. Finally got the site back up this morning.
So how did you fix it?
Well, they started holding the site hostage, and they actually took it down and changed the A record, the DNS listing, to their IP, so that whenever anybody logged into my site, they got a notice that said there's no such site on the internet. So I contacted my internet service provider immediately and told them of the problem, told them that I was a little concerned that the security agency was holding me hostage. And they took a look at the site for me and said, well, actually, there really isn't malware on your site. They haven't accessed the database at all. So I asked them if they could repoint the DNS back to where it originally belongs and take it away from the security site. Then I went on and I checked all the visitors to the site. First of all, I checked the security scan itself so I could see when the problem had started. Then I went on to the cPanel, checked all the visitors, looked at the details of where they were coming from, and pinpointed when the problem had started. Also went to the cPanel and checked all the users to make sure nobody had registered as a user. So then I had to go in page by page and check the code. And luckily, they hadn't been on the database, as I said, so I was able to remove anything that looked suspicious. But the takeaway from this for our listeners, aside from a few tips I want to give them, is really only use a security provider that is supported by your ISP, so that if there is any problem in the future, you can contact your ISP and they're on your side. They don't want your website to be held hostage either. The other thing that saved me is that I pay for a regular backup. Every day my site is completely backed up, so that one other time when I got hacked, we could get it back immediately. This time it took a couple days. I also recommend that our listeners get the most secure firewall they can possibly afford. If you can afford an enterprise-level firewall, do that. Double check your A record consistently to make sure you're pointing to the correct IP address, because that's not something that may be visible to you. And I would just say, keep all of your software updated, all of your plugins. In my case, I use WordPress. So some of these WordPress providers have security issues, so you really have to be careful, especially if you use anything like SQL on the back end, because that's just notorious for being unsecure. If you have any kind of error messages that come on when somebody goes through and gets an error message on your site, keep it nebulous. Just say incorrect username or password. Don't tell the attacker which files are not working or which are, because then they can keep attacking you in the right place. Look for any kind of cross-site scripting, especially if you use JavaScript. In fact, what I do, which actually helped me, is I disable Flash and Java unless I absolutely need it, and then I'll click it on. So if you're doing anything, as many of us are, with content management systems that provide for listeners or users to come on your website and fill in a form, you're going to be susceptible to hacking. So you really have to manage all your uploads particularly. So if you can take the information that's being uploaded and put it into a different part of your server, don't put it on your main server, put it somewhere else in your infrastructure of your business, That helps to keep you safe. And then just beware of any fake file extensions, like particularly JPEG or PDF. Anything that has a PHP code after the normal extension is obviously a dangerous file, and get rid of it right away. So I would say, the other thing is set up a really good firewall and then block every port you don't need, and set up a secure site for uploading from the internet.
Cirina, have you got your site back up and running now?
It's back up again. My ISP is telling me that it's clear and it's clean, so wish me luck. Today, Twitter was named one of the top 1,000 safest sites on the internet, and Michael Coates was talking about this. So if our listeners want to Google Twitter and Michael Coates, C-O-A-T-E-S, he'll also have some additional tips for us that would be really good.
Cool. Well, Cirina, thanks for the update. I'm glad to have your site back again. Cirina Catania is the producer for the Digital Production Buzz. Cirina, safe travels next month. We'll have reports from South America from you when you get there on your film shoot.
Thank you, Larry.